Okay, welcome to another episode of Music Theory in FL. Today we're going to be going over chords and we're going to be going into some shortcut keys for our bonus. I really love chord work and melody work, but we're going to be trying to get more focused on the chord work. And then I'll have a little demo chord set at the end, and if you guys want me to actually finish these demo stuff that I have for these tutorials from like this one or the previous one, let me know. Those are just stuff I come up with on the fly, just to demonstrate some chord work as far as getting my brain working before these tutorials. Yeah, and let's dive into this. Now we're in FL. Let's get to work. Let's get some chord work. Chord progression. Now it's going to be very simple to do more white notes and blacks when it comes to chords, but really try to get past being stuck with a familiarity of a few notes working rather than lots of notes working. So we're going to go into, let's just start with a raise fall chord progression. They're just really fun for me because I find it's very pleasing on the ears. Because the big thing with the raise falls is it has to be up and it has to drop. Really messing around with the chords. Learn some scales. I'm working in a very simple F scale most of the time, or at least a good amount of my songs I can remember at the moment, which is basically any white note is an option until you figure out what white note you don't want to use just because of the harmony. Really listen to your stuff quite a bit. Get some good headphones, because odds are you're like me, I don't really have a good speaker that competes with those headphones for now. So as you notice, I'm only hitting some white notes in here. It's pretty hard to break that pattern once you feel that is how the chords are going to sound. But if you start off with black notes, with one or two black notes mixed in with a few white notes, it will help you figure out what you're going to do next as far as it will progress. Now, with these chords, these are very simple. I'm not trying to do anything in specific, but just remember, changing the mood is not always going to be as simple as changing the octave. Now, when you make chords, melodies, all that stuff, I like to start in piano, because piano has the biggest spectrum you can get for instruments. It's really hard for other instruments to compete with that spectrum, so it's a lot easier to start there than go into another spectrum, another instrument. And by all means, really challenge yourself to make a pattern, break the pattern, all the fun stuff. Generally, piano players and other players will go into a lot more than 3 in a chord. I keep it simple to 3. I can go more, just sometimes it doesn't really fit the harmony yet. So this is a basic raise fall because it goes up and goes down, and it usually, no matter what you do, it has to drop pretty soon from a high point, so to speak. Okay, so as you can see, I made these a little bit longer. And here's just one of those things you can do. You can keep it like that. It sounds great sometimes, but with this one, I'm not too sure, but let's see how it sounds real quick here. You make the chords longer, shorter. It doesn't sound too bad, but generally you want to cut this off so they're not playing the same time as that one. And then we're going to go into a little bit filler here. And let's go into there. These are mini fillers. Yeah, it sounded a bit like this. So mini fillers, optional chords, but generally you want to keep them simple because they're at the background where your melodies are more so supposed to take stage for the most part. Although I have done pieces where the chords have really had a chance to shine. So let's do a lead note as soon as we get to it. Another thing you can do with it is this lead note I have here. Let's drop it down a little bit. It's a nice little surprise when you need a way to break up your chords a little bit, when they just need a little bit of supporting noise. See how it kind of really gets the gate open for that one. Really make sure to adjust the volumes down here, because you're going to lose a whole lot of depth if you do not adjust the volumes. You can keep it that way if you want it to be kind of creepy or just want to be flat. So yeah, let me know how you want me to go about breaking this down, if you guys need a breakdown of what I'm doing here. I really could go much further into these chord breakdowns, but the big thing you need to know is listen to it a bunch, have a good pair of headphones, really give yourself time to figure it out. You really don't want to mess up chord progression by not taking your time on chords. If you're going to take time on anything, really take time on your chords, because they are background, but they do help out quite a bit in this matter. Another thing you can do is we go into this, so you can break up the chords. You can, yeah, sure, let's drop it down to that. Yeah, let's get to something and then yeah, it doesn't sound so great. Let's bring it up to here. Yeah. Let's just get rid of that one. Why does this one have to be so high? So that's another way you can mess around. Is little fillers, these little half-note chords, which they're all too high pitch. There we go. That's better. Now, so another thing you can do once you have a chord progression, put in another instrument. Control A, Control C, and then go to your new instrument. Let's try the. Fine, let's go to sitar. By all means, sitar is good, but I'm just learning how to use it. Control V to drop it in. And let's mute this real quick so I can just hear the sitar. Okay, now into another quick key. We're going to do Control A again. Then we're going to do Control down. Sounds kind of cooler in lower octave. It actually sounds better in sitar than it does in piano. That's cool. So another way to go about chords is we did this all white notes. Now we can do white notes, black notes, mix. So we're gonna go into make another pattern here. Let's just do this in the Koto. Yeah, sure. Let's do this in the Koto. Let's do. The biggest thing is if you have problems mixing black notes and white notes, similar to what I have sometimes, is really start out with the black notes as far as them being the lead, and then add some white notes. Now we're just messing around with the chords. I'm doing it in a traditional. Most of my melodies are in a traditional F scale, which is, you know, any white note goes for the most part. So let's do, since this is kind of awkward, but I want to keep it, let's do a little lead into. Let's hear that again. See how that lead kind of helped it out there? And then we're gonna go, let's, now, notice how the Koto doesn't really play as long, but it sounds interesting. But let's do Control A and let's get it into a more interesting instrument. So Control A, Control C, and let's go into a durbo, a dobro, whatever. Someone tell me how you pronounce these things. Control V. See what I mean by starting with the black notes and adding some white notes to kind of help it out? It's kind of an awkward scale, but it works. It actually sounds pretty good. Really have fun with what you're doing. If it's not fun, then you're doing something wrong. But definitely don't be afraid to take time and try not to stress it, because this stuff can stress you out when you're starting this. The big thing is, don't be afraid to take time off to figure things out, or just not think about it and come back to it when you're getting out. But when you get an idea with these chords, you will find that things really progress a lot faster with your melodies. For me, once I get a good set of chords chained together, it really gives me a good set of notes I can make a melody out of. But this is kind of different for me because these are new instruments that I really wanted to find and use for such a long time, and I finally have them. So this will be fun. Now I'm going to show you my little demo project over here. So, sure, let's just try. Why not add that in just to see how it sounds? I might take it out immediately, but let's just see how it sounds. Go into song. Oh yeah, if you can do get into it by pressing on song and then pressing play or pressing spacebar. But if you're playing part, you can go over to the timeline over here where it says, part 1, 2, 3, on this little thing below the scroll. If you can't see my mouse, hopefully you can see my mouse. I guess you can't, my bad. Right beneath the scroll is where the numbers are, and you click on it, and it just goes straight into playing it. It's kind of a fun little tip there. So let's go over the quick keys that I went over. So Control A to select everything, Control C to copy, Control V to insert, to paste, whatever. Control arrow up to move everything an octave up. It's a little project I was doing just to get myself in the right mentality of how this all works, as far as what I wanted to do in introduction chords. But of course, I had to go all out and make a melody to go with it too. So quarter notes, eighth notes, or in the melody, real simple. And then really messing around with, let's go to pattern 1 real quick here. My traditional raise fall melodies, chords. I have raise fall melodies I'll show eventually, hopefully a lot sooner than eventually. So wait, you can press on this and it just follows it. Definitely don't do that when you're editing it. It's not gonna go well unless your song's playing pretty slow. So again with the melodies, not the melodies, the chords, my bad. So let's go to something I did a whole lot with. So have kind of a set of chords, notes that you want to kind of follow, but mess around with the octave. I kind of go above and below octave a little bit, spread them out, have these little fillers in here. You can do half note chords to help you out. A lot of people, when they do a lot of the same chords repeating and have something small separating it. I try to get away from that, just because I like having it progress differently, and it sounds better in my opinion. So filler, you got a little more filler, and then you got lead up notes, half note chords. Yeah, that should cover it. Have a great night.